Okay, so I just wanted to welcome everybody today to today's presentation, and just a couple of housekeeping things as we go along. If you could just put yourselves on mute just as the presentation is going on, then feel free to unmute yourself and you can ask any questions that you have, or if you feel more comfortable, you could use a text chat and I could relay those questions back. So that's that. So anyways, welcome everybody. Welcome to Small Business Week this week. There's a lot of great information out there. I've seen stuff on social media and emails that have come in, so check it out. The BDC has a whole list of different items up there. So yeah, it's great to get as much information as you can. So I just wanted to take time now to introduce and welcome our two guest speakers, Jennifer Horton from the Curvy Chick, and I hope I'm saying this right, sorry, Quest, you know what, I just want your last name, Quest.
I don't typically use my last name.
No,
but
okay, sure.
Those of you who are interested, it's Atkinson.
From Chocolate XO. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming in today, or well, for zooming in today and sharing your stories of how you got started, successes and challenges that you had, and you know, over this past year, how things have been up and down and up and down and up and down, how you've come, you know, out of it, and here where you are today, and you know, different things that are going to happen for the future. So thank you so much for coming in today, or for coming today. So I'm going to do a brief introduction and then I'll hand it over to Jennifer. So what we have here is Jennifer Horton is the owner and operator of Curvy Chick, an established business located in downtown Fort Frances. Jennifer provides customers with a warm welcome and personal experience in her boutique. Being a plus-size girl herself, she offers her customers cute, unique clothing. Having this type of intimate boutique experience in Fort Frances is a great benefit for the community, and she has expanded her online shopping market through her website. Jennifer is outnumbered in her household because she is mother to a teenage boy, married, and has a cute but aging dog named Freddie. Jennifer enjoys quiet time with a cup of tea and spa days when time allows. And I will introduce Quest. So there's a deep thought and purpose behind everything done at Quest XO Chocolate. Given her decades-long struggle with anxiety, depression, founder Quest has started this small chocolate business with the hope of creating joyful moments for others. Great time and care are put into each bespoke order, handcrafted in the truest sense with the thought of you in mind. Every detail accounted for to give you the best chocolate experience that is sure to make you feel special and valued. Sassy confections, sustainability source cocoa, award-winning flavors, beautiful packaging, handwritten love notes. It's all done with delightful affection. Why? Because you deserve to feel so very loved. So welcome, ladies. I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
So maybe, you know, this is kind of like sort of an informal presentation, and I just want to hear your stories. And so maybe I'll hand it over to you, Jennifer, and then we could go from there.
Okay. So I've been in business for over 8 years now. My journey kind of started in 2012 when I had this idea when I was doing boudoir photography that we didn't have any place to, you know, buy lingerie or, you know, bras, that kind of thing. So the initial Curvy Chick was a lingerie store only. And kind of over the years, the need kind of grew for plus size clothing and accessories. So definitely not what I had in mind or thought it would be at the beginning, which, I mean, it's super exciting now to think back, you know, the space I had. I've moved a couple of times, different locations throughout the years, because the locations that I had just weren't in prime areas, and, you know, foot traffic wasn't there. So I found myself kind of struggling a bit with that. And in 2016, I moved to where I am now, like twice the size of what I had originally had. So when I first moved into the location, it was like pretty big and scary. But now like it's pretty full. So definitely grown into the space. I did start with I guess going to our future development corporation and got loans, and I was able to access some grant money when I originally started the business, which was a lot of help. And even when I bought the building a few years ago, I was able to access a mortgage through them. So they've been a big help. Yeah, I don't know if that's good for now, if you want.
I have a question for you,
Yeah.
Jennifer. So question of curiosity, and I don't know if anybody else in here has been wondering the same thing, but just curious to know if you've always had the same business name throughout all of these years, or as you got more into the plus size stuff, is that when you maybe changed the name to, is it Curvy Chick? I could see that. Yeah.
So yeah, the original, it took me a while to actually come up with a business name. I had, a few different things in mind, but Curvy Chick just kind of stuck with it. And actually at the beginning, I would have customers coming in looking for plus size clothing and, other items like that. So I guess it just kind of evolved, especially like when I moved to the location that I'm in now, like having the space, I thought, you know what, maybe it is time to try, a little bit of clothing here and there. And, that's really a huge part of my business now is that clothing. So yeah.
Definitely interesting. And I would say, so for me, my beginnings were slightly different, and you've certainly been in the game. I'll call it the game. You've been in the game, Jennifer, a lot longer than I have. So for me, I have, just to share with you all honestly, so I have 2 degrees. I have a Bachelor of Commerce specialized in IT, and I did my Master's of Design at U of T. And then, I've always been a really curious person. And what that means for me is that at some point, I realized that I had an undying love for chocolate. I mean, it was always known. There's a running joke in the family that Quest would always be the one to finish the chocolate first. So if there was a little container of chocolate, guess what? It wouldn't last very long. And I just realized at some point that, you know what, I want to take this curiosity even further. So what can I do with it? And actually, the catalyst to me even exploring chocolate in a professional sense was, is there anybody out there that is familiar with Rocky Mountain Chocolate Company? They usually have them in the malls, or at least when the malls were open. I don't know what's happening these days. So I was thinking, hey, I love chocolate, and I'm going to go there and apply for a retail job. So I went to the one at the Eaton Center, so downtown Toronto. And I said, I'm just going to apply for a retail job. Walked in, so much confidence. And they were like, no, you need to be a professionally trained chocolatier to have this job. This is not a retail job. So I was like, oh, snap. And I did what what most people would do. I ran home and asked my best friend, Google, chocolatier training program, Toronto. Because I was like, I'm going to get that job. And it was actually in the process of me finally going through that program at George Brown. So 2 degrees later, and then I was pursuing a diploma at George Brown. I realized that, hey, you know what? I'm really actually very passionate about chocolate. I was so, my mind was blown just exploring the world of chocolate and knowing that I could potentially play with chocolate for a living. And for me, it was actually my husband who said, you know what, Quest, you're in between contract jobs. You don't have any other jobs lined up. So why don't you just go ahead and start a business? So I was like, what? Here's this person in my life who's saying, I acknowledge that we're now just going to be a 1-income household for the next little bit. And I'm okay with it. You do you, and you do your thing and you run with it. And so because I felt so encouraged and supported, and I knew that I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, I said, okay, I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to try this out. And this was at the tail end of 2018 that I took the leap. And so what I did in the beginning stages is I wanted to do things wisely, right? So I had this idea to start a chocolate business, and I wanted to kind of define what it was going to be, what the structure was going to be, what it was going to look like, what sort of things was I going to be making, right? And the other thing to note is, for those who are familiar with Toronto, the chocolate scene is very oversaturated. There are a lot of small independent chocolate shops in Toronto, and they're all really lovely. And if you haven't visited a chocolate shop lately, no matter where you live, I encourage you, be supporting your independent chocolatiers, even though they're my competitors, be supporting them. We all need your love and we all need your support. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was testing things out. So I used September to December as my testing period. So my market testing period. I did a few pop-up markets, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was by coincidence an actually very smart thing for me to do. And I'll tell you why. So there are chocolate seasons. So think about Christmas and the holidays. Think about Easter. Think about Valentine's. Some people are nodding their heads. Think about Mother's Day. Has anybody ever gotten a chocolate for Mother's Day or some flowers or that sort of thing? So chocolate's very seasonal. And what I ended up doing was I had my market testing period during the highest selling season for chocolate, which is the holiday season. So just by coincidence, that's how it worked out. So we got a lot of great feedback that holiday season in 2018. And then I was like, okay, I think I should make this official. So I did all of the officially things in January of the next year. So technically the business started at the end of 2018, but officially it was January 17th, 2019. So I've been almost 3 years in the running now, and it's been so incredible to see how far the business has come in this very, very short time period. And in spite of the pandemic, in spite of Toronto being an oversaturated market, it's been really incredible and such an honor for me to be able to do what I get to do. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, if that resonates with anybody. And just one more thing I wanted to share that I thought is worthwhile sharing. So Jennifer knows this about me, and I'm all about the tea, right? Anybody have tea with them today? We're gonna spill the tea today. Come closer, come closer. Anybody have their tea? Cheers, cheers to everybody who has their tea. I drink kombucha. So as Lori would have mentioned in the introduction, I've had a lifelong struggle with mental health. Specifically, my challenges have been around depression and anxiety. And when I say anxiety, I'm talking about, girl, I can't even put on my shoes to get to the grocery store. It gets that bad sometimes. Or depression, like, you know, I just want to isolate myself. I don't want to do the things I normally love. I don't want to do any work. I just want to just be alone, hiding somewhere. Sometimes I feel like running away. Anybody else out there ever feel like doing that? Any moms out there?
Like I feel like, I don't know if that's just an entrepreneur thing, but like kind of going through those lows of depression, anxiety, you know, when it's slow, you know, when it should be busy, I'm like, oh my gosh, like
what's going on?
What am I doing? What am I doing?
How am I going to make the money, right?
And you keep thinking, you know, what am I doing wrong? You know, and you think I would know that there are ups and downs and low times, but every year, you know, when it's September and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I should know that it's slow and just kind of ride it out.
But you know what? And you raise a good point, Jennifer, because even with me, chocolate is very seasonal. So for example, the slowest season for me is summer, because people want to get outside. They want gelatos and ice creams. They don't necessarily want chocolate, maybe chocolate ice cream, but not like a chocolate bar per se, right? And even still, even though I know to anticipate it, when things get really slow, it can be very depressing because you feel like, what more can I be doing? And you feel so outside of yourself because you're out of ideas. You're out of ideas to try to push the business forward, and you want to be pushing the business forward all the time, but then there are going to be natural ebbs and flows. So this is something to be mindful of. And if for those of you who have tuned in, I just want to say thank you to you all for making time and space for joining us today. And this, again, is a very casual, intimate talk, so we can share vulnerably and honestly, and I will for sure be raw and honest if that's okay with you all. So yeah, just coming back to the anxiety and depression, and this is something that I was struggling with way before I even started my business, right? And it actually truly, so I say often that my husband was the real catalyst to me starting, but truly, when I was thinking seriously about starting this business, I decided from the very early stages that I wanted to use my business as a platform to encourage other people. So I get the honor of using chocolate as a vehicle, as a kind of, you know, tie between to give people that encouragement. But I'll show you what I mean. So this is my business card. This is a front of my business card. I designed this. I don't know if you can see that. The back is blank. I do this because I write little handwritten notes of love and encouragement. someone asked me, Quest, why do you do this? Well, I'll answer you. And feel free to be dropping questions in the chat if they ever spring to mind. We are happy to answer your questions. So I write these little handwritten notes of love because I know how far it can take someone to receive a kind word from even a stranger. It can certainly turn someone's day around, absolutely. And so we do these little scratch notes. This one says, I believe in you, right? So people have the delight of scratching the little heart and seeing the handwritten, they're all handwritten. And so let's just say Moira orders 5 products from my website. All 5 products are going to have a handwritten note on the back, right? And I've received stories, and this makes me so sentimental every time. I've had guys tell me, you know what? I've been carrying that note in my wallet ever since I got it. Or the girl that has told me, who's ordered many chocolates from us over the years, and who has told me, I want you to see my fridge. She took a picture of her fridge and she said, every morning when I wake up, I come out to my kitchen and look at this fridge to feel encouraged and inspired. And I feel so honored that I get to do that. So as you can tell already, the chocolate's secondary, right? It's all about having the opportunity to really love and encourage other people who might be struggling. And let's be honest, during this pandemic, who hasn't struggled? Please raise your hand. I think all of us have struggled in some shape or form, in some capacity. So it's a struggle for everybody. Maybe not all the time. Maybe some of us have been doing okay for the most part, but everybody has a bad day, right? And can you imagine having the whole experience of taking out the beautiful tissue paper and the ribbon and unboxing everything and knowing that that product was made just for you? So this is one of our differentiators. We make to order. So when you order from our website, let's just say Karen orders something, she orders a chocolate greeting card, so an edible greeting card. Well, Karen can be reassured that that thing was made just for her, right? And then she gets the experience of scratching the little notes and keeping them or throwing them away, whatever she wants to do. And it's all about just, leaving that person on the receiving end with a good taste in their mouth, literally and figuratively, if that makes sense. So that was my pretty much how I got started. Any questions for Jennifer and I regarding how we started?
Yeah, for sure. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself, or you could put it in the chat. I'm going to start off with a question. Maybe is for each of you, what has been your biggest success?
You go first.
Oh, I guess I should have thought about this a little bit more. I think, because I struggled for so long over the years, whether it's just bad decisions or whatnot, just seeing how far I've come, like especially through COVID, to see the support of the community and all my customers, they're supporting me no matter what. And I guess I just have to remember, where I started and where I've come, even through something challenging like this pandemic. And I mean, it's been a long year and a half.
2 years, almost 2 years. Wow.
2 years. And, it's, just amazing to see, walking, through the grocery store or whatnot, thinking, people don't know what I look like, but I guess people do know what I look like, and, come up to me in the grocery store and be like, oh, I need a bra fitting. Oh, I got to come see you, or, that kind of thing. So it's good to see that, all the love, I guess.
Yeah. And you know what, much like you, Jennifer, I guess I like to take a little bit more of a humble approach, right? So for me, it's never about the sales. It's actually against one of my business values. We always prioritize people over profit. That's one of my business values. And I would say, I could easily say that one of our biggest successes have been, in our first year of business, we made it to breakfast television on CP24. That was a big win. We also, for those of you who are familiar with BlogTO, we made it to BlogTO. We got coverage from BlogTO last year around the holiday season. And there have been other really big things. But I would say my biggest success would be whenever someone tells me this really changed my day. this note changed my day, or that picture of the person took of their fridge. That will get me emotional every time, more than me meeting my revenue goal. Every time that will get me more, and it will get me emotional. From 50 years from now, if we have another Zoom chat, I don't know if Zoom will exist, we'll see. Maybe we'll do like 3D virtual reality in 50 years. And I will still be emotional about having an impact on somebody's day. That will get me every time. And I will say, hands down, that is always my biggest win.
It's going back to what you were saying about your husband being encouraging. I think that's super important to have your family, supporting you, letting you do your dream, and having that one income household for a while. And even at the start of the pandemic, when I was freaking out a little bit, I was like, what am I going to do? Because we didn't know how things were going to be.
Mhm.
And I was actually going to go get a job at the grocery store because I was like, I don't know. But he was just like, no, it's fine. Like, whatever you need, just like, you do your thing, and I'll support it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So that was really amazing. And, having that.
I'm really glad that you mentioned that, Jennifer, because one of the advice or a piece of advice I often give to other entrepreneurs, whether they're aspiring entrepreneurs or ones who are already running their business, actually, it's two pieces of advice. First, it's know your why. If you don't know the real reason, the anchor behind your business, you're going to be running in circles. Has anybody ever seen a dog chasing its tail or a cat running around in circles? That's what you're going to be like. And it will be much harder for you to make business decisions when you are strongly tied to your why. So in my case, it has to do with mental health. Like, I'm a huge advocate for mental health and uplifting other people. So every business decision I make ties back to that why. So I'm able to say, does this support that mission? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, I need to either alter that concept or I need to drop it, right? Then the other piece of advice kind of touches on what you were just sharing, Jennifer, is you need to surround yourself with a tribe. And a tribe doesn't necessarily mean a whole bunch of people. It can be. I mean, if you have a community of supporters, hey, yeah, power to you. That's even better, right? But if it's just one person, or in your case, if it's a husband or a wife or a sister or a best friend, it doesn't matter who it is. Someone that you trust, someone that you know should be able to speak into your life and do it honestly and with humility and love. I think that's really important, because this is the thing. In the entrepreneurial world, you can have all the capital you want. You can have access to $1 million loans and all of this stuff. You can have a whole team of people. You can have a huge space. But when the times get tough, if you don't have people in your corner speaking into your life and saying, Christine, I've seen you do this before, and I can see you do it again. And I know you have it in you to do this. If you don't have someone in your corner cheering you on it like that, you're not going to make it. You can have all of the other things, but you will not make it. So it's super important to be surrounding yourself with a tribe, whether it's one person or a whole community of people who are really passionate about what you're doing and excited about what you're doing and ready to run with it no matter what you put out there.
No, I agree.
That's great. Okay, now there's another question in the chat. Question: at the beginning of your journey, how did you deal with the doubts whether you're on the right path? And then I guess a part two is sort of similar to that question is, can you share some thoughts on the struggles and how you persevered?
Yeah, if it's okay, Jennifer, I'll jump on that one and you can add if you have anything to add. So at the beginning of my journey, so again, remembering that I've struggled with mental health, depression, and anxiety, it was really difficult for me in the beginning. Lots of doubts, because you don't know what you're doing in the beginning. It's like becoming a first-time parent, right? And there's no instruction manual. You don't know what you're doing. You're just kind of running with it. You're winging it, right? And so there was a lot of doubt for me, especially when you're a very new brand. Nobody knows about you. So how are they going to order from you if they don't know about you? So it's always like the awkward, ugly duckling phase in the beginning. You're trying to get the word out and nobody really knows about you. And if nobody knows about you, they're not going to purchase your products. So very difficult. I would just, in retrospect, I would like to say, looking back, I could have definitely navigated through those seasons with a lot more grace. And when I say grace, I mean giving myself grace. I think as women, and we're all women here, as far as I understand, as women, we are particularly hard on ourselves, more so than the men are hard on themselves. And entrepreneurs are particularly hard on themselves. So when you have a female entrepreneur, then it's doubly hard, because then the expectations that we place on ourselves are, to infinity and beyond. Am I right?
Yeah, like I think because like Curvy Chick, like this is mine and I love it. I love coming here. I don't think of it as a job. It's just something that I love to do. I love my customers, building those relationships. It's just been amazing over the years, to build, even friendships. And yeah, it's
and each day looks very different, right?
Yeah.
So some days are more focused on community and friendships, and other days are focused maybe on getting inventory and that sort of thing.
And
so
I think I take things personally and maybe I shouldn't, but that's just who I am, that, yeah, I just take everything personally.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a slow day, it's like, oh my gosh,
everybody
what am I
hates
doing?
me.
And maybe I should have more confidence. But there's just things that run through your head, as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people struggle with that. I've seen some heads nodding, and one of the things I wanted to say is that what I've learned over the years, and just getting a little bit older, getting a little bit more mature and a little bit more wisdom, is I've learned to start taking the slow days and seasons as either a chance to finally take a break and really give myself grace to take a break. So here's the thing. I want you all to promise me that you're going to plan your rest days, your break days, or your break moments. If you don't plan it, if you don't set a boundary around that, guess what happens? You start to say, well, I could finish this one more thing, or I should be doing this other thing. And then next thing you know, the break period is over, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So you need to be intentional about taking breaks. And then I've just started to embrace those slow seasons as ways to be innovative, right? Let me start working on my, so in the summer, it's a slow period for me. So I said to myself, okay, let me start thinking about what the holiday season is going to look like, and start working on products for that. So let me come up with new things that I know will be really exciting and start testing and recipe developing. So being productive, there's a way to be productive in the slow times that, you're not overwhelmed with sadness and just saying, why isn't anybody visiting my shop or whatever. There are other ways to be productive.
Oh, for sure. And like, for example, because I'm in retail, I know like it's going to be crazy anytime now. So actually Thanksgiving weekend, I closed the store for the weekend and I booked myself a spa day, just to relax, because I knew it's going to be pretty hectic from now until after Christmas. And so it was good. Like, and I think that's important. I really struggled with that at the beginning, being a workaholic, I guess, because there was just, who else is going to do this job? I have to do this. Like, I have to work weekends and evenings. And I guess I've learned over time is that, yeah, you do need those break times to recuperate and not burn out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, booking those, or not going to the office, not checking your emails, on whatever day of the week it is, like a Sunday, and just, enjoying your time off with binge watching.
Yeah, Netflix and chill.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, it was just like Thanksgiving weekend was completely relaxed and it's good. So I'll be good now until usually Boxing Day. I book another massage spa day to release all the tension from the busy season.
It's really good to hear, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but it's really good to hear, Jennifer, that you practice essentially self-care, right? For me, I'm not crazy about that term self-care. It just doesn't really resonate with me. So I do what's called moments of dignity. So essentially I'm giving myself some dignity, right? I don't like the term self-care. Maybe it resonates with you all. That's cool. You do you, right? For me, dignity looks like, and moments of dignity can be something so simple. So I take my favorite perfume sometimes and I'll give myself some dignity by spraying the perfume on myself, right? I don't always wear the perfume. So I just save it for the moment. Or moments of dignity can also look like taking a hot shower and then you say to yourself, actually, I'm just going to stand here for 5 more minutes.
Yes.
I'm just going to enjoy this time, this quiet time. Nobody else is in the bathroom with me, this nice hot shower.
Yeah. And try not to think about things that you should be doing after you get out of the shower. Just
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just allowing yourself the space, the headspace to just be, not to be doing, not to be trying to do this and that and thinking about this and that. You're just existing in that moment and trying to enjoy the moment, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely important to be sprinkling in moments of dignity or self-care, whatever you want to call it. I would say daily, if you're able to do that daily. And it can be, again, ladies, it can be something as simple as, you know what, I'm gonna do like a winged liner today, and I don't normally wear this, but today I'm going to give myself some dignity. Does that make sense?
That's perfect. Yeah, for sure. Now another question, what has helped you the most in getting the word out about your business and to grow your customer base?
Jennifer, did you want to go on that?
Yeah. So um, at the beginning of COVID, when we were shut down, I started doing these live, like Facebook kind of sales events. And that really got me through COVID, and kind of grew. It took about a year to really see that audience kind of jumping up, but it was one way to kind of interact personally and honestly with my customers, and it just became something really fun. Like my husband would come in for the night, usually it was in the evening, and he'd be the moderator, and people really liked kind of our back and forth and his like cheeky comments, and it was just really fun. And definitely like seeing those customers kind of coming into the store, as well as my customers told me they love being able to shop from home. It was great. Show them items, new things. I'd often have, the store behind me, and yeah, they were just loving it, and, offering deliveries and pickups. And yeah, I think that was a huge part of getting through that COVID, when customers couldn't get into the store. So I would recommend, if depending on your business, I guess, but definitely those, live videos and having fun.
I would agree with Jennifer. So of course our businesses are very different. I'm a chocolatier, so I sell chocolate confections, and I'm food based. So for me, one of the things I noticed earlier on is that people like to see. They're very visual. People are very visual. So before they bite into something, they want to see it. They want to see it first. So I really hunkered down on Instagram because it's a very visual platform compared to all of the other social media platforms, and really try to build a good audience on Instagram. And so far we're doing okay. The other thing that really helped me, this is of course pre-pandemic, was doing markets, because again, people like to touch, look, they want to feel it, they want to sample it. And pop-up markets are really great to allow people that opportunity to sample things, right? So once they try it and you know that you've made something that's really good, then they're going to be hooked, right? So they've actually tried the thing, and then they're going to want more of that thing, right? So speaking about pandemic though, that wasn't very feasible to do markets and that sort of thing, especially in-person markets, which totally stripped away the opportunity to be offering samples. So for those of you who are in a business that really thrives on offering samples, or even if you're a clothing shop and you want people to be able to try this stuff on to see if it fits them and how it looks great on them. The other thing that is free and that I really encourage you all to be considering, if you haven't done so already, is a Google My Business page. This is free. And typically when someone has first heard about your business, there are a few things that they'll do. They'll look for a website. So if you don't have a website, that is usually assigned to somebody that maybe this person doesn't have a serious business. They'll look for social media. Anybody else out there look at people's social media? I know I do all the time.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to see what sort of things are they posting. I want to see people wearing the stuff, eating the stuff, enjoying the product itself. And then people will also look for Google reviews. So those are public facing reviews, and those are user generated. So I don't write those reviews. It's the customers themselves that write those reviews. So they're genuine and they're honest, right? And again, just a reminder that Google My Business is free to set up. So it's a free tool as a business owner that you can use to really help to get the word out. The other thing about owning a Google My Business page is that it helps with your search rankings. So people who do use Google as a search engine, if you have a Google My Business page, it helps push that page higher up in the search rankings. So again, for those of you who haven't created a Google My Business page, absolutely explore that as a free tool. And similar to Google My Business, social media platforms. Just a little reminder here though, not all platforms are suitable for every business, right?
Yeah.
So for example, I don't think Twitter is too suitable for my business. We do have a Twitter account, but it's not suitable. People want to see nice pictures. They don't want to see short little blurbs of text, right? So you need to find the appropriate social media platform for your business and really work on that platform and build community there. Because what happens is when you build community on those social media platforms, then, you know, Karen sees a picture and she's like, oh man, I got to share this with my cousin. And I know my cousin's going to love this chocolate bar because she mentioned the other day that she loves 75% dark chocolate, right? And then that's how you start to build momentum and community. So I think those are at least a couple of free tools that you can explore to really, really help you get the word out.
And I also think like with the Google My Business, you can put pictures on there. You can, you know, put announcements, anything like that. I know when I'm looking for restaurants or whatnot, if I'm going to the city, is I'm going to Google them and look through their pictures to see what their food looks like. So I think that's, you know, an important tool to use.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and just launching up what Jennifer just said as well with a Google My Business page, there's even a section where you can create special promos. So those promos will only be seen by those who come across your search rankings in Google, right? So you can have kind of targeted ads, let's call them an ad, that you're not paying for, but it just helps to bring people in, right? So it's kind of a little bit of a, not a trap, but like a little bit of a breadcrumb to say, oh, come here, I have some better things that you may want to check out, right? So definitely some things to consider.
Hey, that's great advice. Here's another question. If you can change just one thing, what would it have been, or what would it be or have been?
Mm-hmm. For me, I would say it comes back to mental health. It's always going to come back to mental health with me. I would say looking back, I would have loved to see myself, give myself more grace and forgiveness. I am so hard on myself. I expect myself to do all of the things in one day, and it's not even humanly possible. And not only that, but being a perfectionist. Anybody else there a perfectionist? You don't have to raise your hand, but I definitely am, like through and through, I am a perfectionist. So for me, it's not just about getting the stuff done, but doing it well, doing it perfect. And that, you know, looking back, that actually it hampered my creativity. And part of what I do involves creativity. It's also dampened my mood and my spirits. So when I'm not my best, how can I possibly produce my best for others, right? So I would say if I were to, I don't have any regrets because there were definitely a lot of learning opportunities in me doing it that way. And I feel like I'm a lot better about things now. But looking back, if I were to change one thing, it'd be learning to give myself a lot more grace. And you'll find that if you're able to give yourself grace, you're also able to give other people grace too, which is super important. People make mistakes. We're all human, right?
yeah, I think I would have asked for help sooner. You know, I struggled for a long time. I don't know if it was just embarrassment or, you know, stubbornness or whatever it was, but I would have reached out for help earlier. And I feel like once I realized that, okay, I can't do this alone, you know, there's other people that are more experienced and they know they have, you know, a lot more knowledge than I do. You know, ask for that help. It's okay to not know everything or, you know, get advice, get support, you know, on what to do, what not to do. I was impulsive, maybe still a little bit, but definitely working with like Karen and whatnot, you know, calling when I had this idea and they'd be like, okay, you know, what is your focus? And, you know, reaching out to other business owners, you know, that have been around forever. They have so much knowledge. So if you can find, you know, other business owners or, you know, other organizations that you can have in your back pocket to support you, to give you advice or whatever it is, or a shoulder to cry on. It's, if you're having a rough time.
I'm sure Karen would agree, and Lori as well, and Chantel, that PARO is actually provides that very thing. So it's a whole community of entrepreneurs, some further along in the journey than others. But it's a great way to really get connected with the entrepreneurship community amongst females, and really get the support, mentorship, advice, and learnings that you need, and also giving you the opportunity to share what you know, right? So it's not one-sided, but it gives us the opportunity to share what we know as well.
That's perfect. Does anybody else have any other questions that they would like to ask? If not, I have one more question.
Go for it. Do it.
Okay. What does the next, I'm just going with 3 years, but I mean, I could say a year. So whatever you feel comfortable with, if you want to go a year or 3 years, what does the future look like? Like, what do you see happening for your business?
You want to go, Jennifer?
Sure. I guess it would be just to have a team. So I've been a solopreneur for a long time, and COVID has allowed me to grow, and realizing that I can't do things on my own. There's just so much to do that. So having a few part-time people to relieve some of that responsibility so that I can focus on things that I really enjoy to do, or that need to be done. It's hard for me to step away, like even right now. I have somebody that's covering upstairs because I love my customers. I've built, those relationships, and maybe I've spoiled my customers because they always ask for me, they're expecting me to be there. But it's come time where I do need, to do stuff in my office. And so I think, going into, even the next year is having, few casual part-time staff to help with, whatever needs to be done. So it's not all, left on me, so I'm not burning out. So last year, actually, I bought a loose leaf tea business from a friend of mine that had passed away. So that's, I guess I have 2 businesses now, but I love tea. So it's a super exciting thing for me to do that I have, lots of plans for. So hopefully I'll be able to, do what I want to do with the tea business as well. So.
Interesting. For me, I would say my ultimate goal, and I can't tell you when this will happen, I'm just going to run with it. So my ultimate goal is to be the one who's setting the vision and the tone for the business, and having people, a team under me that helps to execute the ideas, right? So I love coming up with wacky ideas, and I would certainly be involved in the research part of things and helping to market and promote and giving things a try as far as recipe testing. And then once it's set, my ideal goal is then to just pass it on to the team for them to do the thing, right? And I'll just keep setting these crazy visions and really pushing the limits. But you know what? Just coming back to mental health, and I said this so many times, but I'm really big on mental health. And when I think you struggle with mental health, I think it's very important to be staying within the day, right? So for the time being, that's the goal. When it happens, it happens. But for the time being, I'm just going to celebrate today. And so today, I get to celebrate with you all the fact that I now have a small team that has joined me. So there are 5 people who have joined me for the holiday season. I get to celebrate with you all the fact that I've recently built a chocolate lab. So I now have my own kitchen space, and the space is 1,500 square feet. So it's a pretty sizable space. And I've just been working tirelessly over the last several weeks, adding equipment because it had nothing. Like it didn't even have a curtain. That's how bare it was inside. So I've been building it from really the ground up and working with a team to do that. So for now, I'm just going to celebrate that fact. And I've even onboarded a 6-person team to help me with marketing. I've onboarded another 6-person team to help me with social media. So I'm going to stay in today and let's all just celebrate that win.
That's so exciting. I know I finally have 2 casual kind of helpers now, which is super exciting. I feel like I can, go into the holiday season, at full blast, kind of thing. So, and like you were saying, I actually am working on kind of outsourcing some of my marketing and social media. So that'll, take a load off me as well, which is exciting, like having, those little other people like in your back pocket to make it all come together.
And
so yeah, that's exciting about your space.
Thanks. And it really helps to shoulder the load, right? Because we know that we're all up against this really busy season. I hope it's going to be a busy season for everybody that's here. And it really, really is hard to do it alone, right? And in the beginning, we all do it alone, right? That's how it is. You're just pushing your business forward and you're just trying your best. You're working the 18-hour days. Anybody else out there last year? That was me during the Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do it knowing that in the future things will be a lot better, but you just need to set the structure, set the tone, set the pace for things. And then once you add the people, then they help to shoulder that load with you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. I'll ask one last time if anybody has any other questions. If not, then I want to say thank you so much for coming and discussing all your details about how you got started and how things and personal information and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it shows that we're all human and we all need to be kind to each other and respect each other and support each other. So I'm putting it in there, but
Oh, you're muted.
Lori, you're on mute.
Sorry, did you hear anything I said? Yeah, I just,
no.
Okay, sorry. Anyways, I put in the chat there, again, the information for Quest and for Jennifer, so where you can find them on Instagram and Facebook. And, the season is out there and it's beginning and you need to find each other and shop local for Christmas and for everything. So and again, anyways, I just want to say thank you again. And you've had some great feedback in here, very inspirational. Everybody really enjoyed you presenting and we really appreciate it. And thank you so much. And any last ones? Anyways, so thank you again.
Karen has a question.
Yeah.
You think you were going to get away without a question from me? So I'm going to make it easy. Do both of you ship across the province?
I'm going to make it easy for you. I ship across the country.
Yeah.
Good.
And I just want to say, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I'm sure Quest is the same. Like if you have any questions or you're feeling down or whatever it is, reach out to us. I don't mind getting a Facebook message or Instagram message. I'm happy to answer other questions or, be your cheerleader or whatever that you need.
And similarly, if you want to use me as a sounding board, if you have an idea, I'm happy to give you some advice and feedback just based on my own experiences. So yeah, absolutely. Feel free to reach out to both of us. It seems like we're both open to the idea of that. And keep in touch because I'm sure Jennifer probably feels the same way, but we're also very interested in seeing how your journey unfolds as well, right?
For sure. Well, thank you again and thank you for everybody joining us today. And we'll be back with 2 workshops next week. So feel free to join us. If you want to register, send me an email, makingadifference@paro.ca, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.
Can I just do one thing before we all run away?
Yeah.
Before everybody runs away, I like to finish off my meetings like this. So we're all here. We all made time and space for this. And congratulations to everybody. For those who have already been running your businesses and for those who are thinking about starting a business, I just want to celebrate us all. So to celebrate us all, at the count of 3, each one of us are going to clap 20 times really quickly. Everybody got it? Yeah, we're going to laugh. Don't worry. Feel free to take yourself off mute. We want to celebrate everybody. You can put yourself on camera if you feel comfortable. but at the count of 3, we're gonna clap 20 times as quickly as we can. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Well done, everybody. I hope you all have such an incredible day, and just know that you all are so loved, valued, seen, and appreciated, okay?
Great words. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.